Hello everyone, I'm Linda Almeida, Assistant Professor at Conductor College of Engineering, Fatarda, Goa. In this video of optical fibers, part 1, I'm going to cover subtopics 1. Propagation of light through optical fiber. 2. Propagation of light through cladded fiber. Acceptance angle, acceptance cone, fractional refractive index change, and numerical aperture. Let us begin with the introduction of optical fibers. In 1950s, the transmission of images through optical fibers was put in practice. It was Hopkins and Capney who developed flexible fiberscope, which was used in medical diagnostics. It was Capney who coined the term fiber optics. In 1977, commercial communication systems based on optical fiber were used. Optical fibers are widely used in communication channels. They are also used in medical diagnostics as a sensor for detecting electrical, mechanical, and thermal energies. Optical fiber is a cylindrical waveguide system through which an optical wave can propagate. The principle by which light waves travel through a fiber is total internal reflection. Now we'll see total internal reflection. A medium having low refractive index is said to be optically rarer medium, whereas a medium having higher refractive index is said to be optically denser medium. For example, if there is air and water, air is a rarer medium, whereas water will be denser medium. If there is another example is air and glass, air will be rarer medium and glass will be optically denser medium. When a ray of light passes from denser medium to rarer medium, it will undergo refraction. So the Snell's law can be written as sine of I, that is angle of incidence, to sine of R is equal to N2 upon N1, where N2 is refractive index of rarer medium and N1 is the refractive index of denser medium. Now we will see here I is angle of incidence of light, okay, and R is the angle of refraction. Now we can see here in this diagram, in the first diagram, when angle of incidence, see here, this ray is called as incident ray. And when you draw a normal at this point, the angle which is made by the incident ray with the normal is called as angle of incidence. Similarly, this is a reflected ray. The angle made by the refracted ray with the normal is called angle of refraction. So I is angle of incidence, R is angle of refraction. Now when a ray passes from denser medium to rarer medium, it undergoes refraction. So the ray, when it is passing from denser medium to rarer medium, it will move away from the normal. And likewise, if the ray is passing from rarer medium to denser medium, it will move closer to the medium, closer to the normal. So in this case, the ray is passing from denser medium to rarer medium. So it will move away from the normal. Now at a particular angle, I is equal to IC. Okay. Now see, suppose if this angle keeps on increasing, the refracted ray also will move away from the normal. At a particular angle, I is equal to IC. Okay, that is called as a critical angle. Okay, the refracted ray, see, you can see it here. the refracted ray glides along the boundary between the denser medium and the rarer medium. Here. Now at angles, you can see in the third diagram, at angles I, which is greater than IC, critical angle, there is no refracted ray, but the rays are reflected back into the denser medium. This phenomena is called as total internal reflection, which is used in optical fiber communication. Thus, we have, if I is less than IC, we have the first case. The ray refracts into rarer medium. If I is equal to IC, the ray just glides the boundary of rarer and denser medium. And if I is greater than IC, that is critical angle, the ray is reflected back into denser medium. Now, if I is equal to IC, you can see it in the diagram here. If I is equal to IC, what is the angle of refraction? It is equal to 90 degrees. So, angle of refraction is 90 degrees. Therefore, the Snell's law, sin of I upon sin of R is equal to N2 upon N1. Sin of 90 is 1. So, we have sin of I, which will be IC is equal to N2 upon N1. So, IC is sin inverse of N2 upon N1. So, the condition for total internal reflection is 1. The light must travel from denser medium to rarer medium. Second, the angle of incidence in the denser medium must be greater than the critical angle. We will see optical fiber. See, here it is the optical fiber. An optical fiber is a cylindrical waveguide. It is cylindrical waveguide, okay, which is made up of a transparent dielectric. A dielectric is a electrical insulator that can be polarized by applied electric field. Examples of dielectric are glass, clear plastic, it can be mica, ceramic, some oxides or some metals, etc. Now, which glides light waves along its length by total internal reflection. So, optical fiber is what? It's a cylindrical in shape, in which the light, that is, this part is called as a incident light. This is the emergent light. Now, this light, okay, travels as a waveguide along the cylindrical path and by total internal reflection. So, optical fiber is a waveguide that travels all along the path by total internal reflection. Now, let us see the structure of optical fiber. The optical fiber is cylindrical in shape. It has three coaxial regions. The first one is the core, the second is the cladding, and the third is the buffer. The dimensions are written here. The core is about 8 micrometer to 62 micrometer. Now, core is the innermost cylindrical region. It is a light guiding region. The diameter of the core is approximately 8.5 to 62.5 micrometer. The second is cladding. Cladding is surrounded by coaxial middle region. Core is surrounded by a coaxial middle region, and that is called as cladding. The diameter of the cladding is of the order of 125 micrometer. The cladding protects the fiber from physical damage and absorbs surface contaminants. It reduces the cone of acceptance and increases the rate of transmission of data. Now, the refractive index of the cladding is always less than the refractive index of core. Now, third coaxial covering, okay, is called as sheet or protective buffer coating. It is the outermost region. It is called as sheet or protective buffer coating. It is plastic coating given to the cladding for extra protection from physical damage and from environmental effects. Next, we'll see the structure of optical fiber cable. The optical fiber cables are designed in different ways to serve different applications. We have typically two designs. One is single fiber cable and second one is multi-fiber cable. Let us see the first one, the single fiber cable. A single fiber cable is used for indoor applications. You can see here in the diagram the first, second, third is the same. That is, it has a core cladding and it has a outer sheet. Okay. Now, around the fiber, a tight buffer jacket of Hytrel is used. This protects the fiber. See here, this one. There are two jackets, the inner jacket Hytrel and the outer jacket Hytrel. Now, inner jacket, it is used to provide necessary toughness. It is used to protect the fiber from moisture. A strength member is arranged around the buffer jacket. See, you can see this in black. Okay, fibers like that is a strength member. It is used to provide necessary toughness and tensile strength. The strength member can be a steel wire, the one which is in black, or it can be a polymer film, nylon yarn, or a Kevlar yarn. Finally, the fiber cable is covered with Hytrel outer jacket. This arrangement protects the fiber cable from getting damaged, that is from during bending, rolling, stretching or pulling, transporting or installing. Next, we'll see the multi-fiber cable. Here, the multi-fiber cable is used for telecommunication. The multi-fiber cable consists of number of fibers. You can see here that there are 6 fibers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Each fiber carries light independently. Usually, optical fibers contain 6 insulated, the one in white, 6 insulated optical fiber strands, along with an insulated steel cable here in the center, the one which is dark, at the center for giving tensile strength. Each optical fiber consists of a core surrounded by cladding, which in turn is coated with an insulating jacket. 6 insulated copper wires. You can see here the one which is dark. There are 6 insulated copper wires. They are used for electrical connection if it is required. Now, the fibers are wrapped with mylar tape to bind the assembly. The assembly is then fitted in a corrugated aluminum sheet, which acts as a shield. And lastly, a polyethylene jacket is applied over the top. So you can see here corrugated aluminum is here, and lastly we have the red polyethylene jacket.